Hello everyone, before we get started with the video today, I want to give a huge thank you to WWE Imperfect Films for commenting down below on one of my videos and recommending this list. If you have an idea for any type of video, please leave a comment down below and I'll be sure to get to it. Hello everyone, welcome to the WWE Talk Show. So, saying Vince McMahon has a lot of money is like saying a dog barks. It's just common sense. I mean, considering he's owned the WWE since the 1980s, I mean, you just gotta assume he's made a lot of money. And you also have to assume he's bought a lot of ridiculous things. So on today's list, I'm going to be giving you the top 10 most expensive things owned by Vincent Kennedy McMahon. Enjoy. So many people in this day and age use cars to get around. But unlike a lot of people, Vince McMahon is a billionaire and he uses air travel to get around. But he also needs his cars too. And surprisingly, Vince McMahon only owns 3 or 4 cars, which is surprising considering how much money he's accumulated over the last 30-40 years. But the most expensive of which being $190,000 Bentley Continental Coupe. Not to mention, he also decked it out with a $100,000 sound system. Just think about this. What Vince McMahon spent on his sound system, I bought my house for less. That is just ridiculous. Number 9, the WCW and the NWA video libraries. This is crazy considering Vince McMahon bought this for the low price of $2.2 million plus some legal fees. Just think that $2.2 million has made him so much money over the past 20 years. So not only does Vince McMahon buy ridiculous things, I think it's pretty safe to say he also makes some pretty decent investments as well. Vince McMahon works a lot. This is a little known fact, but every now and again he does have to go home for something at some point, right? Well, when he does go home, he gets to go home to a beautiful 10-acre, 7-bedroom, 7-bathroom property that contains a main house, a standalone apartment above the garage. It also has a gated pool, a massive gym, a 4-port garage. I mean, what doesn't he have? And it makes it even all the more impressive with the property being appraised at from anywhere to 11.8 from upwards to $40 million with all the assets included. That is a lot of dough. And piggybacking off that little fact, what's being a billionaire without a couple vacation properties, right? Aside from their main house, Vince and Linda also own a $12 million condo in Stanford. Not to mention somewhere down in Florida, they also own a $2 million house. That very nicely sits right on a beachfront, which I'm sure Vince McMahon likes very much. So on top of that $40 million they have in their normal house, they also have another $14 million in vacation homes. Okay, so let's go to the biggest well-known flop Vince McMahon has ever had, the XFL. He spent a whopping $100 million on the endeavor. Sadly, this deal only lasted a little over a year, and in a very rare instance, Vince McMahon actually lost money. It's been reported on the XFL he lost over $35 million. Vince McMahon owns the WWE. We all know this. But did you know for a short period of time, Vince McMahon owned the WBF? And if you're asking yourself, what the hell is the WBF? It's the World Bodybuilding Federation, baby. It only lasted 2 years, 1991 and 92. But in that time, Vince McMahon held competitions for bodybuilding, and in the process spent millions and millions and millions of dollars getting it on TV. The failing of this federation also might have been brought on by the steroid allegations brought against Mr. McMahon. Yeah, that's a bit of a touchy subject. So do you remember that Florida property I was telling you about earlier? Yeah, Vince McMahon spent all that money on that Florida property just so he had a place to store his boat, deemed the Sexy Bitch. It's a 47-foot ocean liner, probably costing upwards in the $5 million range. I mean, he already spent $2 million on the house. What's another $5 million gonna do to you just to spend on a boat, right? So he has something to sail across the ocean with, but does he have something to soar across the sky with? And the answer, unsurprisingly, is yes. Vince McMahon bought his own private jet. He spent nearly $27 million getting this thing, which in all reality, with how much he travels and how much he does, is probably a worthwhile investment. But let's not forget the fact that he spent almost $33 million making improvements to it. So that's up closer to $60 million, which is a lot of money. It's very common knowledge Vince McMahon owns the WWE. But how much of the WWE does he own? Specifically speaking, stocks. Well, as of right now, Now, Vince McMahon owns about 45%ish of the stocks in WWE, which is way, way, way above the halfway point, which means Vince McMahon will always have final say on what happens in the WWE. Funnily enough, he actually sold about 5% to Triple H and Stephanie McMahon. So if Vince McMahon sold all the stock he has right now, he could probably become a billionaire again. Okay, so topping our list might not necessarily be the most expensive, but it is pretty ridiculous. Vincent Kennedy McMahon owns a real T-Rex skull, and this is supposedly for his vicious appetite for life. Funnily enough, this was actually a gift from Triple H when he was filming that awful movie, The Chaperone. So Vince McMahon is one of the few people on the face of the planet that owns a T-Rex skull, which is very strange and probably very expensive. Honestly, I don't know how much a T-Rex skull costs, but I imagine it is a lot. Hello guys, I would like to thank you for watching the video. If you made it this far, you guys rock. I really appreciate it. I worked really hard. These top 10s videos takes hours to make, hours of research, editing, and all that other fun stuff that you guys don't want to hear about. So to either side of the screen, there should be video suggestions for you to check out. So if you enjoyed this video, chances are pretty high there's another video of mine that you would enjoy. And if you truly enjoyed this video and you want this content to keep coming to you, be sure to subscribe and hit that little bell on the bottom of the screen. That makes sure you get notifications whenever I make or post a video. But I'm done talking your off for now, guys. I will see you in the next video.